Alright, so today we're diving into something dark, brutal, and downright awesome. 22 brand new zombie and monster games that are set to hit in 2026 and beyond. From massive open-world survival experiences to story-driven horror epics and chaotic co-op shooters, developers are really pushing the limits of fear and creativity this time. So let's check out the most anticipated zombie and monster games that are on the way. Cinder City is an ambitious open-world tactical MMO shooter developed by Big Fire Games under NCSOFT, powered by Unreal Engine 5 to deliver a seamless, visually striking experience across sprawling dystopian environments. Set in a futuristic Seoul devastated by conflict and corruption, players will navigate a city consumed by fire and chaos, uncovering hidden stories tied to characters like Joy and Seven while engaging in large-scale battles that blend tactical precision with fast-paced action. The game emphasizes cooperative play, raid-style encounters, and faction-driven warfare, offering both narrative depth and competitive intensity. With its mix of sci-fi aesthetics, post-apocalyptic atmosphere, and cutting-edge technology, Cinder City aims to redefine the MMO shooter genre by merging cinematic storytelling with expansive multiplayer systems. Cinder City is scheduled to release in the second half of 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Crisol Theater of Idols is a dark fantasy action-adventure game inspired by Spanish folklore, blending gothic horror with mythological storytelling to create a hauntingly atmospheric experience. Players step into a cursed land where idols, once revered, now demand blood sacrifices to maintain their power, forcing the protagonist to confront terrifying creatures and unravel the mysteries of faith, corruption, and survival. The game emphasizes brutal combat with melee weapons, ritualistic mechanics tied to blood offerings, and exploration across eerie towns, cathedrals, and desolate landscapes steeped in cultural symbolism. Its narrative is designed to challenge moral choices, pushing players to question devotion and sacrifice while uncovering secrets hidden within the Theater of Idols. Crisol Theater of Idols is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC and consoles.
To ash. So my soul may ascend to you. Consumed in your flames for all eternity, now and forever. Crisol.
Darkwood 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to the cult classic survival horror game, expanding its eerie, atmospheric world with deeper mechanics and a more unsettling narrative. Set in a twisted forest that constantly shifts and reshapes itself, players must scavenge resources, craft tools, and fortify shelters while navigating a non-linear story filled with grotesque creatures and morally complex encounters. The game builds upon its predecessor's tension-driven design, offering enhanced AI behaviors, more diverse biomes, and expanded player choices that influence the fate of both the forest and its inhabitants. With its top-down perspective, haunting visuals, and oppressive sound design, Darkwood 2 promises a uniquely immersive horror experience that rewards caution, strategy, and exploration. Darkwood 2 is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC and consoles. Directive 8020 is an upcoming sci-fi horror game developed by Red Barrels, serving as the next chapter in the acclaimed Outlast universe. Set aboard a massive colonization ship traveling through deep space, the story follows a doomed mission where humanity's survival is threatened by psychological manipulation, cult-like control, and terrifying experiments conducted under the guise of Directive 8020. Players will experience the franchise's signature first-person survival mechanics, relying on stealth, resource management, and environmental awareness to endure relentless threats without traditional combat. The game promises a chilling atmosphere enhanced by claustrophobic corridors, eerie sound design, and morally complex choices that shape the fate of both the crew and the mission itself. Directive 8020 is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
What a mess.
Understatement of the year.
What is that?
Coolant, maybe?
What we're doing here is a vital step into a new tomorrow.
Okay, now you are sounding like one of William's training videos.
We have always questioned whether we're alone in the universe. It's only when we come face to face with death that we get our answer. However connected the universe may be, in the end, we all die alone.
God Save Birmingham is an upcoming narrative-driven action game set in a gritty, alternate history version of England, where the industrial heart of Birmingham becomes the stage for rebellion, survival, and moral conflict. Players step into a city torn between authoritarian control and underground resistance, navigating streets filled with gangs, corrupt officials, and desperate citizens struggling to reclaim their freedom. The game blends cinematic storytelling with open-world exploration, offering branching choices that shape alliances, betrayals, and the fate of the city itself. Combat combines brutal melee encounters with tactical use of improvised weapons, while the atmosphere is enriched by haunting music and detailed environments that capture the tension of a society on the brink. God Save Birmingham is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Ground Zero is an upcoming survival horror game that plunges players into a devastated city following a catastrophic nuclear event where the remnants of humanity struggle against radiation, mutated creatures, and the psychological toll of isolation. The game emphasizes tense exploration through ruined streets, underground shelters, and contaminated zones, with resource scarcity forcing players to make difficult choices about trust, morality, and survival. Dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and environmental hazards heighten the sense of dread, while a branching narrative ensures that every decision carries weight in shaping the fate of both the protagonist and the fragile communities encountered. Combining atmospheric storytelling with immersive mechanics, Ground Zero aims to deliver a harrowing yet unforgettable post-apocalyptic experience. Ground Zero is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Hunger is an upcoming psychological survival horror game that immerses players in a bleak, desolate world where starvation and desperation drive both the narrative and gameplay. Set in a ruined city plagued by famine and decay, players must scavenge scarce resources, manage dwindling supplies, and confront terrifying entities that embody the primal fear of hunger itself. The game emphasizes atmosphere and tension, blending exploration with moral choices that force players to decide how far they are willing to go to survive. Its haunting environments, oppressive sound design, and unpredictable encounters create a relentless sense of dread, while the story explores themes of human resilience, sacrifice, and the thin line between survival and monstrosity. Hunger is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
Judged us rightly, for we are but beasts, unworthy of salvation.
Ill is an upcoming first-person survival horror game developed by Team Clout, designed to push the boundaries of realism and psychological terror through cutting-edge visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5. Set in a decaying rural town plagued by grotesque mutations and mysterious experiments, the game immerses players in a narrative where every encounter feels unpredictable and deeply unsettling. The focus is on visceral combat, environmental storytelling, and immersive mechanics such as realistic weapon handling, destructible environments, and dynamic gore systems that heighten the sense of dread. Exploration reveals disturbing secrets tied to the town's collapse, while the oppressive atmosphere and haunting sound design ensure constant tension. Ill is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is an upcoming co-op first-person shooter developed by Saber Interactive in collaboration with the legendary filmmaker John Carpenter, blending his signature horror style with chaotic, action-packed gameplay. Set in a near future where a failed scientific experiment unleashes hordes of grotesque, mutated creatures from beneath the earth, players join a squad of toxic commandos tasked with saving humanity through explosive combat, teamwork, and relentless survival. The game emphasizes fast-paced gunplay, customizable weapons, and vehicular mayhem, allowing squads to mow down swarms of enemies while navigating environments filled with destruction and eerie atmosphere. With Carpenter's influence, the tone mixes campy fun with chilling horror, promising a unique balance of thrills and laughs. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is scheduled to release in 2025 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Liminal Point is an upcoming psychological survival horror game developed by Hideworks Games, drawing heavy inspiration from genre classics like Silent Hill and Fatal Frame while delivering a modern atmospheric experience. Players take on the role of Lyra, a former rock singer who returns to the fog-shrouded island of Ashen Point after receiving a cryptic voicemail, only to confront the haunting past of her band and the horrors lurking in the shadows. The game emphasizes exploration of surreal environments, tense encounters with nightmarish creatures, and a narrative that blurs the line between reality and hallucination. With its eerie sound design, desolate townscapes, and character-driven mystery, Liminal Point promises a chilling journey where every corner hides secrets waiting to be uncovered. Liminal Point is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC and consoles.
In the place where hope turned to ash. So come and find me. Mira.
Long Gone is an upcoming narrative-driven survival horror game that plunges players into a desolate world where humanity has mysteriously vanished, leaving behind eerie remnants of civilization and a haunting silence that conceals dark secrets. The story follows a lone survivor navigating abandoned towns, decaying structures, and unsettling landscapes while uncovering fragments of what led to the disappearance of society. Gameplay emphasizes exploration, environmental storytelling, and psychological tension, with limited resources forcing players to make difficult choices about survival and morality. The atmosphere is enriched by chilling sound design, dynamic weather, and surreal encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare, creating a deeply immersive experience. Long Gone is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Mudang Two Hearts is an upcoming narrative-driven horror adventure inspired by Korean shamanistic traditions, weaving folklore, ritual, and psychological tension into a deeply atmospheric experience. Players follow the intertwined journeys of two protagonists bound by fate and spiritual conflict, navigating haunted villages, sacred shrines, and cursed landscapes where the line between the living and the spirit world blurs. The game emphasizes exploration, puzzle solving, and ritual-based mechanics, requiring players to balance faith, sacrifice, and survival while uncovering the mysteries of ancestral spirits and forbidden practices. Its haunting sound design, cinematic visuals, and cultural authenticity promise a unique blend of supernatural dread and emotional storytelling that sets it apart in the genre. Mudang Two Hearts is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
지정태. 지정태!
Nakwon Last Paradise is an upcoming multiplayer survival stealth game set in a post-apocalyptic Seoul where society has collapsed and players must navigate a city overrun by chaos, scarcity, and human desperation. Unlike traditional zombie or monster-driven survival titles, Nakwon focuses on the tension between survivors themselves, emphasizing stealth, resource gathering, and psychological warfare as players infiltrate districts, scavenge supplies, and avoid detection by both NPC guards and rival players. The game's design encourages risk versus reward decisions, where greed can lead to exposure and alliances may quickly turn into betrayal. Its atmospheric environments, realistic mechanics, and social tension aim to deliver a fresh take on survival gameplay, blending urban exploration with human-driven conflict. Nakwon Last Paradise is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC. Phase Zero is an upcoming sci-fi survival horror game that thrusts players into the aftermath of a failed deep space experiment, where humanity's attempt to harness a new energy source unleashes catastrophic consequences. Set aboard a derelict orbital facility drifting near a collapsing star, the game combines tense exploration with resource management and psychological dread, forcing players to navigate claustrophobic corridors, malfunctioning systems, and hostile entities born from the experiment's fallout. The narrative emphasizes moral choices, unraveling the mystery of the crew's fate while confronting the terrifying implications of tampering with forces beyond human control. With immersive sound design, dynamic lighting, and a focus on realism, Phase Zero promises a chilling blend of science fiction and horror. Phase Zero is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Portal's Edge is an upcoming action-adventure open-world game developed by Red Skull Studios that thrusts players into a fractured reality where medieval warfare collides with a collapsing modern world, all connected through mysterious portals that bend time itself. The game emphasizes dynamic combat across shifting landscapes, blending swords, shields, and medieval tactics with firearms, vehicles, and modern technology, creating a unique clash of eras. Exploration is central, as players traverse vast environments that seamlessly merge castles, villages, and futuristic ruins, uncovering lore that explains the portal's origins and the consequences of their existence. The narrative promises a deep, immersive experience where choices shape both worlds and survival depends on mastering combat styles from different timelines. Portal's Edge release date is yet to be announced, however, it will be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Projekt Z Beyond Order is an upcoming cooperative first-person shooter set during World War II, where players are thrust into a secret Nazi island facility conducting horrific experiments that blur the line between science and the supernatural. The game emphasizes squad-based gameplay, allowing players to choose unique classes and work together to survive waves of enemies, uncover hidden objectives, and dismantle the sinister projects unfolding within the compound. Blending historical settings with horror elements, it delivers tense combat, exploration of eerie environments, and a narrative that reveals the dark consequences of unchecked ambition. With immersive visuals, atmospheric sound design, and replayable missions, Projekt Z Beyond Order aims to combine tactical shooting with chilling storytelling. Projekt Z Beyond Order is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Resident Evil 9, Requiem is the next major installment in Capcom's legendary survival horror franchise, continuing the saga with a darker, more atmospheric tone that pushes players into a sprawling, open-world environment filled with relentless tension and grotesque new threats. The story is rumored to follow Chris Redfield and other familiar faces as they confront a sinister cult tied to bioweapon experiments, blending psychological horror with the series' signature action-driven survival mechanics. Players can expect enhanced exploration, dynamic weather systems, and branching narrative choices that deepen immersion while uncovering the mysteries behind the Requiem project. With cutting-edge visuals, immersive sound design, and refined combat, the game promises to deliver the most ambitious Resident Evil experience yet. Resident Evil 9, Requiem is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X/S.
Grace, stay close to me.
I'm coming.
Keep moving.
What's wrong?
I'll explain later.
I've been watching you. You're not like other people, you know. You're quite unique.
Tell me what's going on.
Something important.
Mom, I'm scared.
Grace.
There's no escaping your destiny.
Resilient is an upcoming post-apocalyptic action-adventure game that explores the struggle of humanity to rebuild after a catastrophic global collapse, blending survival mechanics with a deeply emotional narrative about endurance, hope, and sacrifice. Players step into the role of a survivor navigating ruined cities, hostile factions, and unforgiving wilderness, where every decision impacts not only their own fate, but also the fragile communities they encounter. The game emphasizes resource management, stealth, and combat, while weaving in branching storylines that challenge moral choices and test the limits of resilience in a world stripped of order. With atmospheric visuals, dynamic weather, and immersive sound design, Resilient promises a gripping experience that balances tension with human connection. Resilient is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. The Florist is an upcoming narrative-driven adventure game that blends cozy slice-of-life storytelling with emotional depth, placing players in the role of a young florist who inherits a struggling flower shop in a quiet town. As players cultivate plants, design arrangements, and interact with townsfolk, they uncover personal stories tied to each bouquet, exploring themes of love, loss, and healing through the language of flowers. The gameplay emphasizes creativity and choice, allowing players to craft arrangements that influence relationships and unlock hidden narratives, while the shop itself evolves based on decisions made. With its hand-painted art style, soothing soundtrack, and heartfelt writing, The Florist aims to deliver a warm yet poignant experience that balances relaxation with emotional resonance. The Florist is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC and consoles. The Twilight Project is an upcoming psychological sci-fi horror game that immerses players in a mysterious world where reality fractures and the boundaries between dimensions blur. Set within a sprawling research facility hidden deep in the wilderness, the narrative follows a team of scientists whose experiments with Twilight energy unleash catastrophic consequences, warping time and space while summoning entities beyond human comprehension. Players must explore surreal environments, solve intricate puzzles, and survive encounters with hostile forces that embody the unknown, all while uncovering the truth behind the project's origins. With its cinematic visuals, haunting sound design, and emphasis on player choice, the game promises a tense, atmospheric journey that balances exploration with existential dread. The Twilight Project is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Valor Mortis is an upcoming dark fantasy action RPG that plunges players into a brutal world torn apart by war, betrayal, and supernatural forces. Set in a kingdom on the brink of collapse, the story follows a warrior bound by a cursed oath who must navigate treacherous lands, forge uneasy alliances, and confront nightmarish creatures born from ancient magic. The game emphasizes visceral combat with a mix of melee weapon mastery, arcane abilities, and tactical decision-making, while exploration reveals hidden lore, dangerous dungeons, and moral choices that shape the fate of the realm. Atmospheric visuals, haunting music, and a branching narrative promise an immersive experience that balances epic battles with emotional storytelling. Valor Mortis is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Zeverland is an upcoming open-world fantasy adventure game that transports players into a vast, mystical realm where ancient kingdoms, forgotten ruins, and dangerous creatures coexist in a land brimming with secrets. The narrative follows a wandering hero who must uncover the truth behind Zeverland's fractured history, navigating political intrigue, magical forces, and the looming threat of a shadowy empire seeking dominion. Gameplay emphasizes exploration, dynamic combat, and choice-driven storytelling, allowing players to forge alliances, master unique abilities, and shape the fate of the world through moral decisions that ripple across the land. With richly detailed environments, atmospheric music, and a blend of survival and role-playing mechanics, Zeverland promises an immersive journey filled with wonder and peril. Zeverland is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
In this fully interactive world, you'll need to get creative if you want to survive. With a full crafting system, you can turn everyday objects into an apocalypse survival kit. Why go out for weapons when you've got weapons at home? Create a deadly arsenal with stuff you've got lying around. With a javelin, you can go medieval on a Zed without having to smell its breath. Feeling peckish? There's plenty of animals out there waiting to become meat. Turn a stick and pen into an arrow, then combine it with chloroform to get a knockout arrow. Walking is for Zeds and chumps. If you want to get around in style, use our fully modifiable vehicle system. You can give it a new coat of paint and add weapons, armor, and countless other parts to turn even the most rundown beater into a mobile fortress. Need more space? Upgrade your chassis and trailer. Tack on hydroponics, living spaces, and all sorts of other facilities to complete your big bad Zed-killing steed. So you've turned into a Zed. It's not the end of the world. Well, technically it is, but you can still go on playing. Zeds don't get hungry or thirsty, but they sure do love them some meat. And if you can't find any tasty humans, there's always other Zeds. Missing a limb? Just yoink one off all the corpses lying around. Other Zeds probably won't attack you, but human players might. If you run into an elite Zed hunter, sometimes it pays to blend in with the crowd. As a Zed, you can level up your powers and even control your fellows. All hail the new king of the Zeds. The world we've crafted measures over 600 square kilometers, with towns, villages, coasts, mountains, and countless other unique locations. You can turn an abandoned building into a mighty shelter with high walls and self-sufficient farms. Or just travel around in your RV like a true apocalypse nomad. There'll be hundreds of players trying to survive together, weathering the cold, the plague, and hordes of Zeds. You'll need to help each other out if you don't want to become Zed Chow. With everybody else dead.
And that wraps up our look at 22 upcoming zombie and monster games heading our way in 2026 and beyond. Which of these games are you most excited for? Drop your picks in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of upcoming games. Thanks for watching.